As the Second World War wound down, the North American industrial world shifted gears from war production back to their roots. For the Montreal Locomotive Works, this meant shifting their manufacturing from tanks and armament back to locomotives. MLW had built many of Canada's steam locomotives, but post-war was seeing a trend toward diesel locomotives. In 1958 and 59, MLW would turn out a locomotive with surprising longevity. The FPA-4 and FPB-4 locomotives were modified versions of the Alco FA diesels. MLW was a subsidiary of the American Locomotive Company, better known as Alco, and produced many Alco diesel designs in Montreal for the Canadian Railway Network. The FP4 family of diesel locomotives had steam generators to allow them to warm steam-heated passenger equipment, which, as you can imagine, is very important up north. The FP4s were also given Alco 251 diesel engines instead of the stock 244 typically used in FAs. This was at the request of the buyer, the Canadian National Railway, who had trouble with the 244 prime movers. Just under 53 feet long, weighing in at 255,000 pounds, and producing 1,800 horsepower, the FPA-4 was a decent-sized powerhouse for its time. Canadian National initially assigned to the engines the classification of MPA-18, with a letter following denoting which batch order the locomotive came from. Cabless B units were classified MPB-18. The locomotives quickly settled into the passenger service they were designed for. The FPA-4s remained in service well into Via Rail's formation. They were removed from service in the early 1990s. Being classic streamlined power, museums, and heritage railroads in the United States snapped many of them up, and several can still be found running today. Rapido Trains offered the FPA-4 as part of their True North range of models starting around 2015, and have been producing them fairly regularly ever since. The guys at Rapido go to great lengths to get their models as accurate as possible, and I think these models show it. I am no expert on the FP4 family of locomotives, but I tend to judge a model by whether or not the overall look is there. To me, these have the look. By some standards, these are older models, but I think they still stand up nicely. Opinions vary, of course, but regardless of the locomotives you choose, they are all part of how we enjoy this great hobby of ours.